Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone. It is Saturday, February 28th, 2026. And I have to say, I cannot believe we are already staring down the barrel of March.
I know, right? Time really flies when you're, building a digital economy. It feels like we just rang in the new year, and yet here we are closing out Q1.
It really does. And talk about a very specific moment in time. For you listening right now, we are sitting right in the middle of a massive, well, I like to call it a calendar sandwich for the Pi Network community.
A calendar sandwich.
Yeah.
That's a very vivid way to put it. Walk me through that.
Well, think about it. Just last week, we hit the one-year anniversary of the Open Network launch, which was obviously this huge psychological milestone. And now, looking forward, we are exactly 2 weeks away from the big one, Pi Day, March 14th.
Right. It represents a really interesting transitional period.
Yeah.
You have the reflection on the year that's past the whole post-launch reality, and then the anticipation for what's coming in 2 weeks. Usually this is a pretty quiet time in tech cycles, the calm before the storm. But Pi Network just dropped a massive update on February 26th that bridges those two events perfectly.
Exactly. And that's our mission today. We are looking at a blog post. And the title is, let me read this. Celebrating the Pioneer Community with Pi Badges and Raffle Ecosystem Token Design Feedback and Slice of Pi Game. Let me tell you, that title is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
It is a mouthful. It really covers a tremendous amount of ground. Honestly, it's almost 3 different press releases just mashed into one. You have the consumer-facing celebration, you have the developer-facing technical governance, and then the utility-facing product demo.
It's a strange mix, isn't it? We've got community recognition, which is the fun gamified stuff. We've got technical governance, which is the heavy brain-burning stuff involving GitHub. And then we've got ecosystem utility, which is literally an interactive fruit slicing game.
It definitely seems disconnected at first glance. You might ask, what does a mobile game about blenders have to do with open source repositories? But if you look closer, this isn't just a random news dump. It's a very deliberate strategic signal.
A signal. How so?
Well, look at the timing. We are 1 year into the open network. This update combines a retrospective looking back at user behavior with these badges with a forward-looking request for technical collaboration on token design. And then right in the middle, they drop a proof of concept for utility with the game. It's telling us where they've been, where they're going, and how they plan to keep people entertained along the way.
I really love that framing. It's the past, present, and future all wrapped up in one blog post. So let's stop looking at the wrapper and start unwrapping this thing. I want to start with the context. Segment 1, 1 year of the Open Network.
Right. The source material explicitly mentions that the Open Network's first anniversary occurred last week.
February 2026. It feels like just yesterday people were constantly asking when Open Network. I mean, it was the meme of the entire ecosystem for years, and now we've been living in it for a year.
And that shift in mindset is crucial for you to understand. The blog post notes that this anniversary reflects a year of expanded utility development and growing engagement. When you move from a closed mainnet, which is essentially a walled garden, to an open one, the entire conversation changes. It's no longer about speculation or the promise of some future network. It's about the reality of a running economy.
Yeah, it moves from when will it launch to how is it growing, or more importantly, what can I actually buy with this?
Precisely. It's the difference between being pregnant and being a parent. During the pregnancy, the closed mainnet phase, it's all about preparation, dreaming, buying the crib. It's full of anticipation. But once the baby is born, once the open network launches, then it's about the daily grind, feeding, changing, teaching.
And the sleepless nights.
Definitely the sleepless nights. But this blog post acknowledges that shift. The founders recently shared insights into their strategy and approach. And the key takeaway there is a heavy pivot toward development and utility. You aren't just pushing a button on your phone anymore. You are supposed to be actively participating in the currency.
And I think that context is vital because it explains why they are doing what they are doing in this next section, which brings us perfectly to the first big chunk of this update, the badges. Gamifying loyalty.
This part is fascinating from a behavioral psychology perspective.
So here's the lowdown for you. Pi is rolling out special badges and a merchandise raffle leading up to Pi Day. On the surface, it sounds like just a fun little pat on the back for the community.
But in a digital community, a pat on the back is actually recognition economics.
Recognition economics. Break that down for us. What does that mean?
It underscores that the role of a pioneer has evolved. It's not just about mining anymore. The source says this initiative highlights contributions, like using apps supporting community activity and participating in network growth. They are incentivizing behavior that isn't just passive clicking. They are turning reputation into a visual asset.
It's created a resume, essentially, a public resume of your involvement in the network.
Exactly. And in a decentralized world where we don't have traditional credit scores or employer references, your on-chain behavior, or in this case, your in-app reputation, becomes your currency of trust.
Let's look at the specific badges because the criteria, the who gets them, is really revealing about what the network values right now. They listed 5 categories. I want to go through these one by one because some of the numbers are, well, they're intense.
Let's do it.
First up, the first 100,000 pioneers.
The legacy users.
The OGs. This is a pure status symbol, right?
Absolutely. In a network that has grown to tens of millions being in the first 100,000 is like having a low serial number on a limited edition print. It signals foresight. It signals that you were there before the hype, before the mainstream media caught on. It carries a massive amount of prestige within the community.
It's the I listened to the band before they were cool badge. It's the hipster badge.
Exactly. But there is a tension here. We call this the founder's trap.
The founder's trap.
Yeah, it's when a community becomes so obsessed with its original members that it becomes hostile or exclusionary to newcomers. By giving them a special badge, Pi is validating their status, which is great for retention. But you have to be careful not to make the new users feel like second-class citizens.
Which I think leads us to the other end of the spectrum, actually. Let's skip ahead to the 5th category for a second just to contrast it. The badge for new pioneers who join in 2025 and have completed KYC.
The new blood. This is the exact antidote to the founder's trap.
Because it tells the new guy, hey, you matter too.
Exactly. If you walked into a room and everyone was wearing a class of 2019 jacket and you were just standing there in a plain t-shirt, you'd feel like an outsider. You'd feel like you missed the boat. You might just turn around and walk right out.
You'd think I'm too late, the party's over.
Right. But by giving the class of 2025 their own jacket, you create a sense of cohort. You belong to a group. It validates that joining now is still a celebrated act.
It effectively says, you aren't late, you're just in the newest wave.
Correct. And notice the KYC requirement there. Know your customer. By explicitly adding a badge for 2025 joiners who passed verification, they are validating the growth engine. They are reminding everyone that real identity is the prerequisite for participation. It's not just about downloading the app. It's about becoming a verified human in the network.
Okay, so we have the old guard and the new blood. That covers the timeline. Now let's look at the behavior badges. Category 2. Pioneers who mine for 365 days between December 2024 and December 2025.
The consistent miners.
Now let's do the math on that. That is a full calendar year, 365 days. That means you didn't miss a single day.
The wording mined for 365 days implies a cumulative count, but within a one-year window that effectively means perfect attendance. It rewards extreme consistency.
That is insane dedication. I mean, I forget to floss half the time. Remembering to open an app every single day for a year, that takes a specific type of person.
It creates a habit loop. And for a network secured by diverse human input, that daily check-in is the heartbeat. Rewarding that consistency reinforces the security of the ledger. It's encouraging the dailies to use a gaming term.
It's the streak mechanic.
Yes, and we know from apps like Duolingo how powerful the streak is. People will go to great lengths to keep a streak alive. Pi is tapping into that exact same psychology.
Of those I get. But this third one, this is where my jaw hit the floor. Pioneers who spent 2,000 plus hours in Pi chats between December 2024 and December 2025.
The social butterflies. Or perhaps the town criers.
Let's really unpack the math here. 2,000 hours.
It is a staggering number. Let's break it down. A standard full-time job in the United States is 40 hours a week. If you work 50 weeks a year, give you 2 weeks vacation, that is exactly 2,000 hours.
Wait, so you're telling me that to get this badge, someone essentially had to treat chatting in the Pi app as a literal full-time job?
Roughly, yes. If you break it down by day. 2,000 hours divided by 365 days is about 5.47 hours every single day.
5.5 hours a day in a chat room. That is intense.
It suggests incredibly deep community immersion. These are likely the moderators, the volunteer helpers, the people who are constantly answering questions for new users. They're the glue of the community. But yes, the time commitment is immense.
I really hope they have good ergonomic chairs. That is wild.
Yeah.
But it also shows that Pi isn't just a financial tool for these people. It's a social network. It's their third place outside of home and work.
Correct. And recognizing that labor, because spending 5 hours a day helping people is labor, even if it's unpaid, is a very smart move by the core team. You need to validate those super users or they burn out. This badge is basically a medal of honor for the people keeping the culture alive.
It distinguishes the tourists from the residents.
That is a perfect way to put it.
Okay, moving on to the fourth category. Pioneers who explored 50-plus Pi apps between December 2024 and December 2025.
The explorers. Now, I would argue this is the metric that matters most for the future of the network,
Why is that? Why is this more important than the chatters?
because the previous badges reward passive loyalty like mining or social loyalty like chatting. This badge rewards economic loyalty. These are the people testing the utility. They aren't just hoarding coins, they are going out and seeing what those coins can actually do. They're visiting the marketplaces, the games, the utilities.
But 50 apps, that seems like a lot. How many apps do you use on your phone regularly? Maybe 10.
If you look at average smartphone usage data, most people cycle between 5 and 7 core apps. Social messaging maps, banking music, that's it. So asking someone to explore 50 apps within the Pi ecosystem, that is asking them to step wildly outside their comfort zone.
It turns the user into a QA tester.
In a way, yes, but it also solves the empty mall problem.
The empty mall problem. I like the sound of that. Explain.
Imagine a new shopping mall opens. It has great floors, nice lighting, but no shoppers. A store opens up inside. They see no shoppers, so they close. Then a shopper walks in, sees no open stores, so they leave. It's a death spiral.
Right. It's the classic chicken and the egg.
Exactly. By incentivizing users to visit 50 apps, Pi is artificially flooding the mall with people. Even if they're just window shopping to get the badge, they're creating foot traffic. For a developer building an app, seeing that foot traffic gives them data and hope. It kickstarts the economy.
It proves there's actually life on the planet. So let's talk about the user experience, the UX of all this. The source says if you qualify, you get a pop-up notification after mining. It prompts you to claim the badge. And this is the really cool part, you choose which badge to display on your profile.
Choice architecture. It's subtle, but incredibly powerful. Think about it. If you qualify for all 5, which one do you show?
Yeah, what's the hierarchy there?
Do you show off that you're a first 100K OG that says I have status? Or do you show off that you're a 2,000-hour community pillar that says I am helpful? Or the 50-plus apps badge, which says I am knowledgeable?
Oh, that's a tough choice. I feel like the first 100K is the biggest flex, but the 50-plus apps shows you're actually smart about the ecosystem and using it today.
It allows users to curate their own reputation. It creates a visual hierarchy within the Pi chats and Fireside forum. When you see someone typing in the chat and they have that badge next to their name, it instantly adds weight to their words.
That's a great point. It's not just a sticker, it's authority. If I see the 2,000-hour badge, I know that person probably knows the answer to my question. I can trust them.
But these badges aren't just for internal bragging rights. They're actually the key to the next segment we need to cover, the raffle.
Segment 3, the viral loop. Because nothing says celebration quite like free stuff.
Indeed. But look at the mechanism here. It's brilliant marketing disguised as a giveaway.
So the carrot here is Pi-branded merchandise, hoodies, t-shirts, maybe those cool hats. To get into the raffle, you have to claim your badge and then share it on social media.
Note the workflow, though. Step 1 is claim. Step 2 is share via in-app instructions. Step 3 is submit the link to your post back into the app.
They are making you prove it. You can't just click share and cancel the tweet. You have to bring your receipt.
Correct. This ensures that the social media visibility is real. It's a proof of community strategy. Instead of Pi Network buying ads on X or Facebook to say, hey, we are doing great, they are mobilizing millions of users to flood the timeline with these badges.
It's organic amplification. If I see one person posting a badge, I scroll past. If I see 50 of my friends posting different badges on the same day, I start paying attention. I start asking, what is this thing?
And the timing is critical. This is happening right before Pi Day. They are building a crescendo of noise and visibility leading up to their biggest annual press event. They are priming the algorithm.
Let's look at the rules because the logistics here are surprisingly complex. The deadline is March 14th at 11:59 p.m. PST, and there are 150 winners.
150 winners out of potentially millions of entrants. The odds are, well, they're slim.
Very slim. Better chance of getting struck by lightning, probably.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker. They handle fulfillment through a third party covering over 220 countries and regions.
That is a massive logistical flex. It's just a throwaway line on the blog, but it's huge.
Do you know how hard it is to ship physical goods to 220 countries?
It is a literal nightmare. You have customs duties, import restrictions, different address formats, sanctioned regions. Amazon doesn't even ship to 220 countries easily.
So what does this tell us then? Why mention it?
It tells me that Pi Network has established a serious supply chain partnership. They aren't just a couple of guys in a garage mailing t-shirts. They have engaged a global logistics vendor. It's a proof of logistics.
If the winners are truly random, you could have a winner in Nigeria, a winner in Vietnam, a winner in Brazil, a winner in France, and a winner in Tuvalu.
And the merchandise has to get to all of them. If they can ship a T-shirt to a user in a remote village in Indonesia, it implies they have the infrastructure or the partners to eventually handle more complex real-world goods. It builds massive confidence.
It's not just a T-shirt, it's a test run for global commerce.
Exactly. And note the strict verification rules. If a winner has an invalid link, they are disqualified and a new winner is drawn. They are very serious about the legitimacy of the engagement.
So we've got badges for the ego and a raffle for the hype. But now we have to put on our serious glasses. Because right in the middle of this party, they dropped a very technical document.
Segment 4. The technical pivot. We are shifting from consumer-facing fun to developer-facing governance.
This is the ecosystem token design. Now, for the listener who just likes mining on their phone, this might sound like total gibberish. Ecosystem token framework. Translate that for us.
Think of it this way. Pi is the currency of the country, let's say the US dollar. But inside that country, you have businesses, apps, games, services. Sometimes those businesses need their own tickets or coupons to run effectively.
Like how an arcade uses tokens even though you pay dollars to get them.
Exactly. Or how an airline has miles. You pay for the ticket with money, but you earn miles. The ecosystem token design is a set of rules and tools for how developers on Pi can create their own tokens. Let's call them app tokens that live on the Pi blockchain but serve a specific purpose within their app.
Why is this a big deal, though? Why not just use Pi for everything?
You can use Pi for everything, but sometimes you need a token for specific mechanics, like loyalty points or governance of a specific app or representing a unique asset like a sword in a game. But here is the danger. In the broader crypto world, anyone can create a token in 5 minutes.
And most of them are total scams.
Most are noise, yes. Meme coins. Pi Network is trying to avoid that entirely. The source explicitly quotes that ecosystem token design plays a central role in ensuring that token creation on mainnet supports real products and sustainable utility.
Sustainable utility. That is the buzzword right there.
They don't want people creating tokens just to pump and dump. They want tokens that are integrated into the evolutionary process for products. They are setting a much higher bar.
Yeah, the way they announced this is really interesting. They used an acronym, PIRC, which is actually released in a video by Pi founder Chengdao Fan.
Yes, Pi request for comment.
That sounds very official.
It's a direct nod to the history of the internet. The internet as we know it, the protocols that let us send emails and load websites, was built on RFCs, requests for comments. When engineers in the 70s and 80s wanted to define how the web works, they published an RFC and asked the community to critique it.
So by calling it a PRC, they are adopting that open source collaborative ethos.
Yes, it signals a major shift from corporate product to protocol.
Explain that difference for us.
A corporate product is like an iPhone. Apple decides what goes in it. You buy it. You don't get to argue about the button placement. You take what Tim Cook gives you.
Right. It's a closed loop.
A protocol is like the internet itself. HTTP, TCP/IP. No single company owns it. It evolves through consensus. By moving the token design to GitHub and calling it a PRC Pi is signaling they want to be the plumbing of the internet, not just an app on the phone.
And where is this hosted? GitHub, which is a huge deal.
The holy grail of developers.
For those who don't know, what is GitHub?
GitHub is where the world's code lives. It's a platform for version control and collaboration. Moving this discussion to GitHub is a massive signal of maturity. It means they aren't just deciding this behind closed doors at PyHQ. They're putting the code and the concepts out in the open.
The source mentions using issues or pull requests to suggest changes. For those who don't code, that basically means you can go in and say, hey, line 45 doesn't make sense, or here's a better way to write this code.
Exactly. It harnesses Linus's law, named after Linus Torvalds, the creator of Linux. Given enough eyeballs, all bugs are shallow.
If you have N,000 developers looking at the token design, someone is going to find the loophole that the core team missed.
And that makes the network more secure. It's crowdsourced security through transparency. It's saying we don't have all the answers. Help us build this.
But they didn't leave out the non-coders, right?
No, they included a Google form for high-level feedback. So if you understand the economics but can't write code, you can still have a say.
But the core team still steers the ship. The source clearly says the construct design is also subject to further revisions based on feedback from the projects.
It's a meritocracy of ideas, not a simple democracy. They aren't voting on the code. They are refining it based on expert input.
Okay, so we've had the badges, which represent the past. We've had the token design, which represents the future infrastructure. Now let's talk about the present utility. Segment 5, slice of pie.
I have to admit I love the name. Slice of pie.
It's a total dad joke, but I respect it.
It is.
So what is this game? The source describes it as a user strategically slices fruit perched on platforms above a blender. The goal is for pieces to fall cleanly inside.
It sounds incredibly simple and accessible.
It really reminds me of the early days of mobile gaming. Fruit Ninja or Cut the Rope. Those games were huge because anyone could play them. You didn't need a 20-minute tutorial.
And that is exactly the point. They aren't releasing a complex MMORPG that requires a high-end PC. They are releasing a casual game that runs on the same phones people use to mine. It drastically lowers the barrier to entry.
But it's not just for fun, right? There is an economic engine under that fruit blender.
Correct. The source explicitly calls it a live demonstration of Pi's gaming utility. It integrates two key things, Pi payments and the Pi ad network.
Pi payments make sense. Maybe you pay Pi to get a new sword or power-up.
Exactly. Microtransactions. This is standard in gaming, but usually you pay with credit card points or Apple Pay. Here you pay with the Pi you actually mined.
But I want to talk about the Pi ad network. I don't think people realize how big that is.
The ad network is the sleeping giant of the Pi ecosystem.
Why? I mean, everyone hates ads.
Everyone hates intrusive ads. But ads are the fuel of the free internet. Google, Facebook, TikTok, they are all ad companies at their core.
Yeah.
The problem with the current ad model is that the user is the product. You get sold to advertisers and you get nothing in return.
True. I get to use the app for free, but my data is the actual price.
With the Pi ad network, the value flow changes. The advertiser pays in Pi. That Pi goes to the developer and potentially supports the network structure. It keeps the Pi currency circulating. It creates what economists call the velocity of money.
So if I am an advertiser, I need to buy Pi to show my ads. That creates buy pressure on the token. Then the developer earns that Pi. They can use it to pay server costs or pay users.
It completely closes the loop.
So Slice of Pi isn't just a game. It's a live demo of how Pi becomes the currency of advertising.
Yes. And think about the attention economy. Right now, Pi has a massive advantage. Millions of active daily users who are already opening the app to mine. They have the eyeballs. Now they need to monetize them without alienating them.
And gaming is the Trojan horse for that.
Exactly. Gaming sits at the intersection of three key strengths Pi wants to leverage: social interactions, the attention economy, and digital transactions in in-game economies. Gamers are already used to buying virtual currency, V-Bucks, Robux. Moving from that to Pi is a very small mental hop.
And Pi Network Ventures, the investment arm, is explicitly looking for this. The source says they are looking for projects with game design to drive ecosystem utility.
They are essentially broadcasting a call to developers. Use our infrastructure. Use the ad network. Use the payments. If your game gains traction, apply to us and use the collective resources of the Pi ecosystem. They are trying to incubate their own Angry Birds.
Imagine if the next Angry Birds is built on Pi. That would be millions of transactions a day.
That is the ultimate dream of sustainable utility. It's moving the entire user base from holding to transacting.
The source also mentions comparing this to Fruity Pi, which was released last year.
This shows iteration. They aren't just launching something once and forgetting about it.
Right.
They are building a library of reference implementations. It's like when Apple releases sample code for developers. They are showing, here is how you build a game on our platform. Now go do it better.
So we've covered the three pillars, but we are also on a timeline here. Segment 6, the road to Pi Day.
March 14th. The pressure is on.
The source confirms that Pi Day historically serves as the moment for major progress and current work.
It's their Apple event. It's their keynote. It is the Super Bowl of the Pi ecosystem.
And this year's promise. They say updates across products, tools, and initiatives that advance long-term utility and real-world adoption.
That is broad, but highly optimistic. Real-world adoption is the phrase that really sticks out to me there. They want to move beyond the digital wall. They want Pi to be used for things that matter in the physical world.
The source ends with a call to engagement. It encourages pioneers to stay engaged and play an active role in shaping the ecosystem.
Which perfectly ties back to the badges and the GitHub feedback. They are giving you the literal tools to stay engaged. They aren't just saying wait and see. They are saying do and share. They're putting the responsibility back on the community.
Ask not what the network can do for you, ask what you can do for the network.
A bit dramatic, perhaps, but essentially, yes. The open network means the door is finally unlocked, but the community has to walk through it and build the furniture.
So let's wrap this up. We've been deep diving for a while now. What is the grand synthesis here?
If you zoom out, you see a very clear three-layered strategy. Layer 1 is celebration, rewarding the past behavior with badges and raffles, making the users feel good. It's essentially the retention strategy.
Okay, layer 1 is retention.
Layer 2 is innovation, planning the future infrastructure with the token design and GitHub, making the developers feel empowered. It's the building strategy.
And layer 3?
Layer 3 is application, demonstrating current utility with slice of pie, making the economy real. It's the usage strategy.
It's a balanced breakfast. You've got the sugar with the game, the protein with the tech, and the vitamins with the community recognition.
The metaphor is falling apart a bit, but the strategy is fundamentally sound. The juxtaposition of a playful fruit slicing game alongside a dense technical GitHub review really encapsulates the Pi Network's dual strategy. It's trying to be two things at once, accessible for the masses combined with robust technical infrastructure for the developers.
And that's a really hard balance to strike. Most crypto projects are either too technical and scary, all command lines and private keys, or they are too simple and end up feeling scammy. Pi is trying to walk that middle path.
Precisely. They are trying to build a user-friendly front end on top of a serious crypto backend.
Now, before we go, I want to leave you, the listener, with a final thought, a somewhat provocative thought based on everything we've unpacked today.
Go for it. Let's hear it.
We talked heavily about those badges, the 2,000-hour chatters, the 50-plus app explorers.
Yes. The visual reputation markers.
Right now, they are just pixels on a profile. But as this open network matures, are we seeing the beginning of a reputation-based class system within the Pi economy?
That is a very interesting question. It really makes you think about the social dynamics.
Think about it this way. If I'm selling a car for Pi in the future open network, and two people want to buy it, one has the newbie badge, and one has the 365-day miner badge and verified identity badge, who do I trust?
You inherently trust the one with the badges. It creates a reputation score without explicitly calling it a credit score.
Exactly. How might these badges influence who you trust or trade with? They might evolve from fun stickers to actual proof of reliability. It might determine who you hire or whose advice you take in the forums.
It monetizes trust. And in a decentralized network where you don't necessarily know anyone's real name, trust is the most valuable currency of all. If these badges become the standard for trustworthiness, people will work very hard to get them.
It creates a social hierarchy. Whether that's good or bad remains to be seen, but it is undeniable.
Indeed, it mirrors the real world, but it's optimized by algorithms and blockchain verification.
Something for you to mull over as you try to slice that fruit in the app.
Absolutely.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll be watching closely on March 14th to see if the Pi Day prophecy holds true. Until then, keep mining, keep chatting, though maybe not 5 hours a day. Please take a break, and we will see you in the next one.
Stay curious, everyone.
Bye for now.